Yeah. Let me drop exclusive game from my exclusive mind. You be out here chasing fame, I stay steady on my grind. Zero diamonds, zero.
Thank you for tapping into the Exclusive Minds podcast. Today we're going to be having an exclusive conversation with exclusive content from Exclusive Minds. I'm your host, Rook, and
Joe.
let's get right into it.
The countdown to 50 is on.
Yes.
We're getting closer every episode.
We are getting closer, and hey, I wanted to press you live. Don't put that intro of me doing the intro anymore.
Why?
I keep watching it, and I'm like, bro, I sound like a dumbass on the
That's
intro.
the whole point.
Yes, but then if someone doesn't know, they're going to be like, bro, this guy's a fucking moron.
No, come on, man. But then you're like 2 seconds later, you're in it talking normal, man.
Okay,
That's
all right.
the whole point.
Okay,
It's
Joe.
the radio. It's the over-the-top radio voice.
Whoever's listening, let us know what you guys think, if we should keep it or get rid of it. Joe fucks with it.
yeah. Come on.
I like it and I don't like it. I'm really Switzerland
So
with
why
it.
all of a sudden it's been in there for like? I mean,
Because more specifically, like we already like when we record, like you're pretty good. You like upload that same night, so I'm like I already know what we're talking about that same night. Like I'll go in and listen to it and do the promotion or whatever, but I don't listen like every single time. But we had the video last time. I'm like, let me go through and check it out, and then I was like, that motherfucker still put that in the beginning.
well, yeah. Yeah, that was actually, that was a pain in the ass too. Because, like I said, the video was recorded separately from the audio.
Well, let's talk about it.
So I had to try and pull them together, and it wasn't the end of the world. But then, of course, we had the pause in the middle for the camera overheating or melting down or some shit.
Yep.
So I thought I did a pretty good job actually.
Everything came together well. I was gonna say how was like piecing it all together and all that.
I mean,
all that
it's
stuff.
yeah. You just kind of have to line the audio up with the video, and the first couple of times it was off, right? So I mean, you could see the lips moving, and then the talking was a little off, and then you just adjust it. And it didn't take me as long as I thought it was. I thought it was going to be a total nightmare.
No, it came out really well, I think.
But, so,
the timing wise, you were pretty good on timing as well. So it didn't
Yeah.
seem like it took extra long.
No. I mean,
anything.
it came together pretty quick.
Yeah, good.
So what I'm doing here now is we're still recording with the GoPro, but I'm jacking the Zoom podcaster audio directly into the GoPro. So I'm hoping that what in theory should happen is our audio should now be the audio for the video. So now I just take the GoPro raw video and upload that to YouTube and Spotify, and then the audio I'll just deal with like through GarageBand, or now I can actually use Logic and stuff. So I'm really going to get hardcore.
I guess we could get really creative, or you more so. But I mean, questions, I know how to do it. Like for the video side of things, I know how to do. Like you said, you have Final Cut.
Yep.
I'm very well at Final Cut, so that's just something we just have to talk about. I feel like when the time's right.
I have it. I've never really used it. I'm just assuming it's iMovie on steroids.
It's so nice.
But the cool thing is, I also have I have the entire Apple suite. So they have the one that actually will do the letter, or you can overlay the graphics.
Okay.
So I can put like Exclusive Minds graphics, or I can do all that. I forget what that's called. I don't know.
It's funny because you have all the Apple stuff and I have all the PC stuff. So I have like the whole like Adobe suite. So like if we really come together with that, we could make something crazy. Because we could do like an overlay, like you said, banners and everything like that. Yeah. If that's what it comes down to.
So I mean we've got some opportunity to really kind of start to mature at least the production value, and it's just me and you doing it. So
Yeah, I mean, I remember in the beginning you always were saying if there's any interns, but that's still the case. If there is any interns,
yes,
reach out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
right, if there's any interns,
in college
reach out.
And you're doing video or audio, and you want to actually at least put something on your resume, reach out to us.
Absolutely.
It's team at exmnds.com.
Yep. Real quick, kind of going off of what Joe said, and follow all the call to actions. Make sure to share it, everything, please. All X, Y, and Z. But
so sorry, I did notice that we had a nice little uptick. I mean, normally we just get a couple dozen hits on the audio for YouTube, and it was like 5 or 6 times what we normally get because of the video.
Hey, man.
So I'm assuming that's got something to do with the algorithms
absolutely
and how
has to do
YouTube
it.
Pops it up and stuff.
We have to optimize YouTube Shorts because I heard behind the scenes that YouTube Shorts is promoting to keep up with TikTok. So if we start promoting maybe on the shorts side of things.
We'll have to do Twitter Vine too when that comes back, right? We're all kinds of shit. We should get a blue check mark for $8 a month.
Yeah, exactly. So real quick before we go into that though, to go off what Joe said about putting it on your resume, the one thing that I still get asked about when I showed people my resume applying to jobs was the podcast or like the clothing brand, like that. Those little like nuggets. It's not what is normally talked about because you'll see like grocery store, pizza, whatever. You see podcast, that's a talking point. So, just a little bit of a food for thought for anyone who's not even in the market and just wants to kind of have that little one up on the resume. So,
I mean, honestly, it is. I mean, podcasting, social media. That for my generation was always non-traditional, right? You wouldn't even think twice about asking somebody what they do for social media, but obviously that's like the world we live in today. So it's just kind of interesting. Even me and my generation, it's people are like, oh, you do podcasting? And we're actually starting to corporately. They're we're doing podcasts and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, yeah, I got the stuff. I can bring it on site and do podcasts anywhere and stuff like that. So it's becoming a more and more thing. But yeah, absolutely. Can't pay you because, this is shoestring budget here. We literally make no money. We lose money every time I buy shit. But, you can put it on your resume and we'll back you and showcase your talents and expertise and give you props and credits and,
Going off what you said, I like that idea of like a office podcast because now that I'm going into the office, if you really think about it, and it's just like,
oh man, mute your phone, dude.
Yeah, all good. Going into the office now, it really is like a mini podcast type of thing. People just like talk about like random BS that's kind of happening throughout their lives, and if you're just like, this is kind of like a podcast, but just like without the information side of things. It's like, hey, what do you guys like to do for X, Y, and Z, yada, yada, yada. So, anyway, that's a good idea. But I have a couple topics that I would like to,
Fire away.
Get us started off with.
I got a bunch of stuff too.
So. Okay, you'll be the closer then. So,
we're not talking close yet?
We can. Do you want to do that?
Do that first and then...
Okay, we'll do that first. Okay, so you guys can see,
all talk, no action is finally action.
Is finally action. So, we got the black and white design and then the white on white design, but it's not actually white ink. It is white ink, but it's color changing white ink, which makes it, I guess, pink. In simple terms, it's pink. Not magenta. It's called, but yeah, it's pretty sick. It's not changing.
It's a shame
right now.
We can't show it here because we're not outside. Because it really does need real sunlight instead of just regular light. But
take it away for a second.
It is a hard change, man. It's pretty wild, right? So it looks like a white, a white design, but when you take it out in the sun, it turns hard, pink, magenta. Oh, you can see it there, yeah.
Kind of see it a little bit better.
Yeah, it's like literally just a couple seconds. It is a quick change, and it changes right back too. So it's kind of neat. The white tee actually looks like it's white on white, and then you get outside and it's hardcore pink.
It is extremely hardcore pink, bright pink that is too. Like I said, pink, magenta, same deal, but it is a very, very bright color, whatever it changes into.
Yeah, no, I think that we've been talking about doing this forever and wanting to kind of get creative, and I think we saw some stuff that just didn't look all that great, but this is amazing.
No,
this is
I
actually
like it.
Really cool.
Oh, and we almost forgot too. We got neck tags now.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait a second now. Hold on.
Yep. Technical glitch. Which we won't take out of the podcast.
Yeah, no, for sure. So now we have neck tags, and then on the back you have the just a nice little simple. I don't know if you would want to.
So
call
the back
it
is not
logo,
color changing, correct?
No, it's just it's the standing magenta. Print on the back. But it was cool though because this was a learning experience, and I was talking to Joe. I apologize, I kind of fucked it all up. I was talking to Joe when you're dealing with a new person when you're doing stuff, it is a good thing and it's a bad thing, but it also has those learning curves. So as something as simple as this, where it appears as simple as it is, kind of took a little bit more time just because we had to make sure it was done correctly prior to sending it to the person to get made.
Yeah, and this wasn't really the first design, right? The first design was a hell of a lot more. It was the butterfly.
It was butterflies within the text, and then we tried to render that out, and then it just came out to, all right, well, that doesn't work. What can we agree on that still makes us happy, but also stays true to the design and everything. So we ended up just taking out the butterflies. Everything looks fantastic on it still, but yeah, it's just those learning curves that, I mean, I don't know. That's what makes the business, though. It's adjusting, and it's not just A to B. It's A to B to C to D to E, all the way to get to Z. So it's just something that we had a necessary learn, and now it's all good.
Yeah, and it's funny, you actually used EXM and DS. I just assumed that it was going to be exclusive mines. I didn't even think, which is kind of nice because, I mean,
that's
at the
all
end
of
of the day, right? That's what we that's
all of our tags, everything, bro. So like, I was like, yeah, it's perfect opportunity, and like I said, the design's so clean, and I was just talking to Joe before we went on. It's like I could wear this out to dinner, or I could wear it to go to the gym. It has it's clean enough where you could wear it to multiple things versus like before the designs were kind of, we always talk about that. So, I mean, I won't go into detail, but it's very clean. It's very nice. And I'm excited to have this finally come out.
Yeah. So, I guess the other thing is let's just open the kimono, right? Originally, we were trying to get these for breast cancer month because of the pink.
Yeah, right.
So we obviously screwed the pooch on that, but so we're not going to call these breast cancer in November T-shirts. We're behind the scenes. We're going to take care of our annual donation to breast cancer. But I guess if you follow us, right, that's something we've done every year, except we screwed it up this year. These are sort of that. That's originally what we were intending, but they kind of have that theme. Once you see the pink, you'll kind of recognize it immediately as sort of the pink that we've always used in the past as well. So I think that's the kind of cool thing. So what we'll do is we've got a smallish quantity of these initially. Yeah. I'm going to try and get these up on the website this week. I have some travel scheduled for mid to late part this week, so I'm going to try and push it as quickly as possible.
Yep.
I'll send out emails and all that other stuff, so you'll get notification if you're on our mailing list. If you're not, just go to
our website.
Yeah, go to the website and sign up, and you'll receive it. And yeah, so we'll have these available. If you get your order in early, you'll likely see it rather quickly. If you get to the back order situation, please back order them, and we will have a new run of these available shortly thereafter. These should be pretty quick to turn around, so won't be too much of a problem or a delay like we've had in the past.
Yep, well said.
Make sense?
Yep, sounds good. Okay, well, that's it. I think for the clothing side, I think we kind of have an idea of what we're trying to do next. I talked to you a little bit yesterday about what that is, so I think we're going to try to get another round of hoodies together, which we're going to do embroidery on. We haven't did embroidery since 2 years ago, 2 breast cancers ago. So not this one, and not the last one, but the one before that, which I think was 2020. Yeah, just 2020, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been about 2 years.
Yeah,
it'd be good. But that's enough, kind of, I guess, of the clothing thing. I don't think. That's kind of about
just
it, right?
so excited we've got something to actually promote physical, and sell. So
tangible products.
We'll have this up. We'll start hitting the promotions. You'll probably hear more about this in the next couple podcasts because we'll talk it up now. But yeah, I know it's been a long time, and they're short sleeve, but we're looking at other things, hoodies and some stuff. So
sweet. In I guess recent news, we ended up losing the World Series yesterday. Yeah. Unfortunate.
It was not a good day for Philadelphia sports because the Union lost.
Lost. I didn't even know that was on. I'm not a big soccer or football fan. But when we were out at the bar, there was people like screaming about the Union game because it was a close game up until the end, and then they went out to like a shootout, which I never understood why they didn't just why don't they just add like another 15 minutes to the clock rather than go to a shootout?
Yeah, that's kind of the way it's always been, and it sort of adds a whole new dynamic. I don't know if there's an official reason why they never just kind of played until, I mean, eventually these guys would drop, right?
Yeah, right.
Think about it, right? It's 120 minutes of running.
Because then the goalie's got to feel like he's got to deal with all the pressure of what the past,
that's just the way. I mean, that's the way it has always been.
But yeah, so that was interesting to watch. Astros won, unfortunately. But I seen and you're more familiar with this guy probably than I am. But there's a guy named Mattress Mack, right?
Yes.
And I'm not too familiar. I just know he kind of has these annual promotions, and every big sports event he'll hedge his bet by saying, all right, so if you buy during this time, you'll get this amount off, and then he'll basically bet on the other opponent.
No, so I mean, I think
right?
he actually. So what he says is, if you come in during whatever it is, a month window, and you buy any furniture that's over whatever it is, $500 or $600, or there's some number, right? But if you buy it and the Astros win the World Series, right? So this is all happening way before they're even in the playoffs and stuff like that. You'll get your furniture for free. They'll rebate you whatever you paid for it. So you literally have an opportunity to possibly get your furniture for free. So what he does is he basically runs that promotion for whatever it is, a month or two. He figures out what his liability is if the Astros were to actually win the World Series, and then he goes to Vegas and just sort of counters the bet. So, and usually it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, right? Because there's odds, right? So he'll bet the Astros will win the World Series. That way, if they actually win the World Series and he has to pay out $5 million to all these people for free furniture, right? He's winning $5 million on his bet. So that's all he was doing, was covering it. Now, I think this year
he broke a record for the highest
He did something.
bet.
Yeah, he did something else, though. Like, I forget what it was, because I think he said he's going to end up making money. Like, it's a $30 million win, right?
That was 75.
Is that what it was? I mean, I heard it was a huge number.
So
like, it was a $10 million bet. With the odds, it was like 75. I thought it was 30, but whatever it was.
It was recorded as the largest sports bet in history. He had 15 million on the line to win the payout, which was 75 million. And we had the first 2 games in Houston, and then the next 3 in Philly. And when he was in Philly, he was getting like absolutely heckled to the maximum. Like, it was crazy. Like, you see this like older gentleman just kind of, doing his thing, and then you have a bunch of like Philly natives just fucking giving him the business.
Well,
so
it's Philly, right?
So
we have that bad reputation. Undeserved.
He was getting.
It's really not that bad.
He was getting chirped, So I just saw like a clip. I think Dave Portnoy tweeted it out and was like, "This is unbelievable. Mattress Mack is the nicest dude ever, but has $15 million on the line in Philly. I don't want to say this was inevitable, but it was inevitable. Fair play on both sides." So,
yeah, I mean,
you kind of expect it when you come there, right?
Of course, he's it's an imposing fan, right? It's like someone from the Cowboys showing up, and you're gonna get ribbed. So it is what it is.
All right,
but that's pretty badass. I mean, he's done that every year for, I think, forever. So
we should do that, right? Just do like a crazy hedge like that. Like, that would be pretty cool, I guess. Real quick, speaking of breaking records, I know I was talking about Call of Duty last week. That is the fastest Call of Duty ever, surpassing $800 million in its opening weekend. So in 3 days, $800 million, beating out the previous world record holder, which was MW3 back in 2011. $800 million, bro. That's actually insane.
It's a lot of money.
Bro, it was bigger than Top Gun Maverick. And what was the other one that came out?
Oh, you're talking about, that's true.
Yeah, so like a huge drop. I have a couple more things kind of leading up to what.
Man, I read a review.
The main topic.
I was about to lose my shit on it. It was so bad. It was a review of Call of Duty, and I don't know what the hell. Everything is just so freaking. I hate to say it. Look, everything is just so goddamn like woke and political, right?
How so?
And so it was a review, and this was on like it was IGN or something like that, right?
Was it the campaign review?
Yes, I think that's what it was. But the person's like, the social nuances of the strategy. It was like, I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, no, yeah. And so this is the thing with that, and I come to learn to like just ignore it because every single year they do this, but it's a different. What do you call that? So rather than having like, it would be more fair if every single year Joe's going to review the Modern Warfare campaign every single year. But every single year it's a different person, so that the reviews are all over the place. So arguably 2 of the worst Call of Duties came out within the past 2 years. They rated them both higher than this one that's breaking all these records.
Right.
So it's like,
right.
How do we find the actual truth versus what some guy might have had a bad experience?
So you really need someone who is. I mean, the best review would be someone who's played every single one of them.
Played every single one, or just have a consistent basis. Like, at least if someone it was like a hater of the game,
sense.
At least you have a constant thing. But like going back to your point, you can't like. There was a time where you could get away with certain things, and it kind of goes back to that point you had a couple weeks ago about like the hate mob or whatever it was, or trying to start like a thing based off of like the online thing. So I don't know. I think it's just the world's kind of gone soft in that regard. Like,
it was just, I mean, but it was just, I'm reading it and I'm like, what the? It's a freaking video game,
Yeah,
right?
right,
I
for
mean, all I care about is what are the cool machine guns and can you snipe somebody and does their head get blown off? I mean, it's just like, come on.
No, man, it is actually, it's all over the place. I mean, and arguably, like, they had a tease in this campaign at the end, and don't want to spoil, and it's not really a spoiler, but at the end of the campaign, it was like a post-credit scene. I don't know if you remember back in 2008 or 2009 when the other one came out, it had a lot of controversy behind it because one of the missions was you would load into a game and go and shoot up a mall. Like that was one of the missions in the earlier games. And then this one, they didn't put it in, but they had a callback to, because the mission was called No Russian, and then at the end of the game, like the guy who was like on an airplane got a text message and it said like No Russian, and then it just kind of went black screen. But it was like crazy because leading up to that point, he had like a chain on and a bunch of different accessories, but all the accessories were 3D printed, and he took everything apart and made a gun like on the plane. So it's kind of like what if that shit came like what if that happened, like it's like touched a little bit too close to home, like that could be a real scenario. Like granted there's probably security measures, but it was just one of those things. I have one more point before probably the main topic here, which was a 30-year-old, did you hear about this? The 30-year-old woman who was left behind $4.2 billion from her family who funded a chemical company back in 1865. She got left $4.2 billion, but she said she doesn't want the money because I want it all to be taxed away because she was annoyed that her family was funding a company that was a chemical company.
Are you freaking kidding me?
I'm not kidding. This is real. This was a real article that came out.
So, oh God. All right.
So I wish I had the actual article. I just took a screenshot of it to bring it back up. I'll try to find it, but $4.2 billion, man. I mean, that's a hefty chunk of change, man.
I don't know if this is true or not, but what's really sad about that is, okay, so I mean, you're batshit crazy and you don't think you deserve the money. All right, fine, whatever. But to sit there and say, I don't want to accept it, what you're doing is you're basically giving it to some freaking shit-ass government that's going to F it all up and use it for stupid shit. Where you could just take it and then say, you know what, I'm going to donate it all to whatever it is, the Girl Scouts or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do good with it, but I mean, oh, God, whatever.
So, yeah, it's according to, this is by livemint.com. I don't know who it is, but according to the New York Post, the German heiress has expressed her annoyance over the incoming inheritance, saying she wants all of it to be taxed away. Australia gave the startling reminder following the passing of her grandmother last month, who left behind a sizable quantity of money from the long-established chemical firm business owned by the family. The 30-year-old said, "The dream scenario is I get taxed. According to her, the inheritance money should be taxed rather than given to her because that would only cause interest to the one individual, according to, I guess, the entire betterment of the earth."
Oh, God. That's funny.
Yep.
It's funny. Come on, it's freaking funny. Like, you just have to laugh and just shake your head and go, what is wrong with people?
So,
like, I mean, honestly, like if you're guilty about it, take the goddamn money and then do something with it that you want to do that you think's for the better good.
So she said the heiress supports high taxes on inheritance wealth mainly because, in her opinion, the money wasn't earned by the inheritor. It ought to be distributed equitably. I don't even know what that word says. Equitably. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So,
but it won't. It's going to go to the German government, who's going to take it and do just stupid shit, right? Oh God, these
$4.2 billion. I mean, at least keep $1 million, right?
People
I mean, she probably will.
Dumb.
I mean, truth be told, though, even if she got taxed to hell, she's still going to keep like $1 billion, right?
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, whatever. Anytime you want to give money to the government, you're just a complete and utter idiot. So, period.
Oh,
if you seriously think that the government's going to do better with your money than you will yourself, then you are a fucking idiot.
That's an emphasis on
and we're coming up on election day, and this is now turning into a political podcast. So, think before you freaking vote.
So, real quick, kind of off the topic, just to kind of ease the situation.
Yes,
15 minutes from here is a town, and in a town, someone actually hit on one of the Powerball numbers, and they won $500,000. Do you see this?
Coatesville, yeah.
Coatesville, yeah. Isn't that pretty sick? They won. I mean, you know, good for them. But
no one won the lottery this week, so it's up to $1.9 billion. That's some
whole lot of billion.
coin.
Whole lot of billions.
If I win, I don't want it. I want to be taxed on it, and I want it all to go to the government so that
you heard it here first.
Yes. So I feel guilty about because I didn't earn that money.
My package got delivered. W. Good shit. All right. Sorry, I just got the notification.
You can't escape it, man. We're on a podcast, and here we are getting notifications from Amazon. Your shit's delivered.
Yeah, my shoes. So I entered in this Croc X Pleasures giveaway. I'm not really a big Croc person, but I saw that they were reselling for a good amount of money on StockX. It was like because Crocs are only like $60 anyway.
Yeah, give or take.
And this was a collab. They marked it up to 70, and reselling for like 150. And I was like, let me put it through. I need to feel a W because I haven't caught any W's on confirmed or anything really because
this is a big time drawing kind of a winner.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I've never seen anybody ever win any of that shit.
So I ended up winning a Crocs X Pleasures collab, and they came in today. So I was very excited. I was excited because Joe seems to win all these Yeezy and cool shoes, and I ended up winning.
I win the right to pay for it, so it's a big difference. You're getting those for free. So
no, they paid.
Oh, yeah. All right. So
paid at the same thing as you, so slightly discounted.
All right.
So same deal.
So you okay?
Yeah. Not actually truthfully.
Do I even want to know who the hell Pleasure X is for the collaboration? Like,
no, Pleasure. They're just like a LA-based clothing company.
Okay,
it's, nothing.
Pleasure X. You know what I mean? I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
The name alone just
there's no X.
down my spine.
It's Pleasure's like X Croc, like X, like meaning collaboration.
Oh,
yeah.
Of course. Well, you said Pleasure X. I'm thinking that would be Crocs X Pleasure, right?
Sorry, Crocs X Pleasure. Real quick,
let's get technical here.
YouTube's richest creator, Mr. Beast, is seeking a $1.5 billion valuation for what could be a massive milestone for influencer-led businesses.
Yep.
And I think he might be going to your boy, Mr. Musk, to get some sort of Revine. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, like a second wave of Vine or a competitor app for TikTok.
So you're saying that Vine's going to go to him to be one of their lead
maybe
content creators.
Mr. Beast is an absolute beast when it comes to anything marketable or new age stuff. That. So maybe if anyone were to do the job, I think he could get the job done because I heard that, and this is obviously a rumor, but they're trying to like shut down TikTok again back in the States. For the
that's on the agenda, yeah.
So
for sure.
If this could happen, 1.5 billion could be worth it.
Yep.
Could be definitely worth it. I mean, I don't know how much TikTok's worth these days, but it could be the next big thing.
Yep. No, I did see. I mean, so TikTok's always on the chopping block, and it never seems to happen. And I know they just hired some big hitter who's right out of the Biden administration. So it's I can't imagine they're ever going to completely cut him off. I mean, who knows?
I think the big problem is because of all the things that I think it was Joe Rogan that went through the terms and conditions and seen all of the the hypnotic or whatever the feed for what they're actually monitoring.
Yeah, everything.
So
it's literally freaking everything.
Everything. So
their algorithm and stuff is built off of just
every single
collection
thing.
Is insane.
Yeah.
So it's one thing I haven't done is Twitter. So I'm not Twitter. I mean TikTok. So
right. Yeah. I mean I've dabbled in it.
I reinstalled Twitter though. So. First time in like 3 years, 4 years. I haven't been a Twitter guy, but I'm like, let me get it and see what's going on.
Are you gonna buy the $8 a month Twitter?
No, fuck that.
No,
I don't need a blue check mark to stroke my ego. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, me neither.
I think there was some other stuff that they're talking about doing there for that $8. So it's not just the blue check mark.
It's like longer video, longer text, a couple other things, and they're also bringing monetization to content creators on there, which is dope.
Yeah, so I mean, from that perspective, who knows? Maybe I think we have an Exclusive Minds account.
We do.
Twitter.
Don't use it, but we do.
Yeah, so maybe we need to go back and revisit that. So,
all right,
that's one thing we should probably start to think about doing, especially with association with this now video, is doing shorts, like you said, and
shorts would take this thing to the next level. Now that we have the video, we're definitely going to do that because it is actually insane how good shorts and any type of TikTok does when they're actually on like a social media like that.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll have to take some videos of these shirts like we did last time too, because I think we put up a little short video when we did the last drop.
Oh yeah, I gotta contact my guy.
Yeah, and that ended up getting a bunch of hits. Actually,
did.
more than the podcast. So I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
it
great.
got like
wonderful.
1,000 or something like that, didn't it?
Something. It was, yeah. But I mean, it was a lot more than the podcast. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So
Yeah.
maybe that short format works. But yeah, we should do that.
Short format works because of TikTok, because
people have no attention spans.
Exactly,
And we're all a
ruined
bunch of
it.
fucking idiots.
So I guess now it's the time to parlay it over to you. I kind of went over my topics because
So I only have one thing to talk about, one thing and one thing only. Unfortunately, I have a feeling that we're going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about it, which
Yes.
is Yee. And he is just... So it's kind of funny, right? I think we did the podcast 2 weeks ago, right?
Yep.
2 weeks on a Sunday.
Yep.
And at that point, that was like... I sat there and said, there's no way that Adidas is going to drop them, right? Because it's way too much money, and I think it's all bullshit, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And sure enough, that Monday morning, right, Adidas announces they're dropping them, and I'm like, holy shit, right?
The company has taken the decision to terminate the partnership with Yee immediately, end the production of Yeezy's branded products, and stop all of the payments to the Yee and his companies.
Yeah,
Adidas will stop the Adidas Yeezy business with immediate effect. However, they're going to still sell the silhouette of the shoe just without his branding on it.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that flies. But so here's the thing that's really kind of interesting about this, right? So, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, that's kind of. I mean, I got to give Adidas credit, right? Whether you think it's
business.
right or not.
Overheating. Uh-oh. Camera's too hot. R.I.P. the camera.
Did it really say that?
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's all good,
All
man.
right, hold on. I'm going to pause.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so I guess if you, there's probably going to be a little bit of a
Buffer.
goddamn GoPro camera overheated after 29 minutes. So I don't know what we're going to do about this. I'm a little annoyed, to be honest with you, that it doesn't even last 29 minutes. So
Yeah, it's all right. We're good.
yeah, so there'll be a little bit of a hiccup here, but I know we were just going off on Yeezy, but let me take pause here and just vent my anger at GoPro.
Oh, God. So,
yeah, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to evaluate and see if there's another camera in the market that, doesn't overheat after 30 minutes of recording a simple podcast, but
damn.
It is what it is. I will do my homework and figure out if this is normal or if I'm screwing something up. Now, the only thing I can think of is, like I said, I think we're probably recording in 5K, which is pointless. So maybe we downscale to something a little lower than that.
Did you try to do that?
Well, we put in an extended battery mode, which I think is supposed to lower the video quality, which I would assume might help with the overheating issue. I don't know. We'll mess with it, but right now I don't have a lot of love for GoPro, and if you guys listen, which I know you don't, you suck.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
So, getting back to Yeezy. So, so the interesting thing about that, right, is obviously they bailed on him, which I thought was amazing because I didn't think they would actually do it because there's some serious money behind that, right? And as it turns out, they basically came out and said that it's going to cost them 7% of their annual number, right? So everything that Adidas sells, Yeezy was 7% of their number, which is serious money.
So,
and it was anywhere between $240 and $700 million annually.
Okay, now I have a different report that I pulled. Yours is probably more accurate, but this one is from a Morgan Stanley analyst who estimated that the Yeezy line was responsible for more than 40% of Adidas profits.
Yeah, no.
And it was in tune for $1.8 billion in annual sales. Yeah. They said that's what the analyst said. I think that number is a little bit high, but I also think 7% is low, believe it or not. Think about it. I mean, think of all of the stuff that Adidas sells. Right.
7% is actually a big freaking number.
Right.
One person, 7% of all of Adidas' sales. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, how many times did he put out shoes a year, right?
Frequently.
Recently, but up until then, no. And so it's a lot of money. I mean, so that's at the end of the day, right? We could all argue.
We're arguing over the numbers, but
it's a significant amount of money, and I have to give Adidas credit for, if you're going to be woke and you're going to be, worried about all this stupid shit and you're going to have these knee-jerk reactions and all this other stuff, whether it was right or wrong, right? The guy's an idiot, and he said something that was kind of stupid. I mean, does it deserve to completely just wipe him off the face of the earth? I guess it does because everybody's doing it. But I'm like, I'm like, wow, man, that's give them credit for being able to just say,
stand on their business, man.
This guy's more of a headache than $250 to $700 million in business, which is crazy to me. But wow,
here's the thing with that, and it's like you said, it's just that number. I think we're caught up on. When you're thinking of Adidas, at least from my point of view, there might be a lot of footballers or anyone who's signed, but Kanye was the big name for Adidas. That was their go-to guy for it. That was their Jordan for Adidas.
Absolutely.
So that's like it. They don't. I mean, I can't really name a lot of the people that are on Adidas after the
there's
Kanye.
Tons.
I'm sure there's
Messi,
tons
on the football side.
I don't even know. So that's where I said that.
I mean, they have some big stars, but I mean, there's no doubt about it, right? He was probably the biggest single draw that they had. But I mean, they make a lot of stuff, but still, I mean, I'm like, wow, they just cut out all this money. And then of course everybody else lines up and drops them. I mean, I know JP Morgan was already kind of axing them, and that apparently was, I guess if I follow correctly, he basically had $140 million in the bank with JP Morgan. And they told him to take his money and leave. And I'm like, damn. Holy mackerel. And then, of course, everybody else who he had any relationship is pretty much
didn't even have like, I've seen some companies that didn't even, not once did I see,
so, I mean, Gap came out and said it. Balenciaga,
yeah.
They asked him. Oh, I want to talk about that too, because I noticed they have a mashup with Adidas just last week, and it's all like Kanye West
inspired stuff.
It's all Yee looking clothing. Now, I mean, obviously there was that relationship as well, so I don't know who's who, but
so
that's a whole nother thing.
No, right, I mean, for sure.
But so I was like, there was Skechers. I guess he showed up to Skechers headquarters. I mean, the guy is just whacked, man. Like, I mean, he's got some issues, and I think he even publicly admits it. But I'm like, man, he is just all over the place.
I saw a clip. He was on one of the not talk shows, but what's the guy's name? The British gentleman, Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan. And Piers Morgan, he has a tendency, I noticed, because he did it with the Andrew Tate thing. He likes to cut people off constantly, like before they get them their thought.
It's his thing.
And when you have someone like Kanye, who we've talked about having 10 ideas at one time, trying to gather that, he said, I forget the exact quote, but it was like, "You better not talk to me like that, boy," or something. Something like that. He's like, if you don't have more money than me, you can't give me financial advice or something. I mean, and which he has a point, because he's obviously a very successful individual, but he just kept calling someone like that. He was like, "You better not talk to me like that, boy," or something like that. I thought it was actually hilarious, but I'm sure it was like a heated argument.
There's some crazy shit going on. And then he picked a fight with Shaquille O'Neal.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh man, what is the deal here? I mean, at some point you got to just take I mean, look, whether Shaquille you like O'Neal's the guy or not, you just at some point it's like, dude, you really do need to just kind of take a step back, take a deep breath, and just regroup instead of just kind of keep going. I'm like, but yeah, he's been picking fights with everybody. But yeah, so I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but obviously 2 weeks ago when we were on the podcast, right, I mentioned that I had won 2 pairs of Yeezy shoes. Right, I won the 450s.
Oh, right,
and the 350 silvers. Right,
so now they refund you or something.
So no, get this. Both of those shoes were in transit when
the whole thing was going down.
When the whole thing blew up. Right, so literally, I was supposed to get delivery literally that Monday, the same day that they cut him off. So in transit, it's in FedEx. I can see it, right? It goes from Spartanburg, South Carolina warehouse, and the other one went from their warehouse in upstate New Pennsylvania. Gets to the local Exton office, and all of a sudden, FedEx says pending delivery. Right, all of a sudden the delivery just stopped, and it's been sitting there and sitting there and sitting there and sitting there doing nothing. And I call up Adidas, and I'm like, "Yeah, you charged me $400 for shoes, and they're not coming. Right? Can I get I want a refund?" You got to wait 10 days and then we'll do something for you, which would be this weekend, right? And then all of a sudden, the one pair, they go, "Yeah, we delivered those a week ago." I'm like, "No, you didn't."
No,
right?
Yeah.
So Adidas is like, "Well, okay, we'll track that one for you." The other one is just dead in the water, and I'm like, it's really weird that I said to him, I said, it's really weird that it's 2 pairs of Yeezys, like the day after you announce all this horseshit that are stuck in this limbo. Like, what happened?
What'd they say? Did they have any explanation for it?
I'm just talking to some freaking, person on the other end who doesn't know shit. But I just, to me, it was like, wow, that's just a wild coincidence that 2 pairs of shoes, 2 pairs of Yeezys coming from completely different warehouses, like end up just at the same
dead in the water, right?
Exact same day. They both just sort of get frozen in the system.
So now, where's your money at?
I have paid for them on credit card, but I haven't gotten delivery. So the one they're backtracking it because I said, look, I tried calling FedEx and FedEx won't do anything because it's you who shipped it and all this other stuff. So they're like, okay, we'll take care of it, but we got to run do their audit or whatever the hell it is. So that one's kind of in process and they're supposed to get back to me. And the other one, they're like, well, the window isn't up yet on that one. You have to wait until literally today was the day. So they said, call us Monday and we'll start a review.
Damn, so you have to give us an update.
I got nothing. And it was just kind of weird.
And you're short $400.
That's easy enough. I mean, I can always call American Express and tell them, look, these guys F me and they'll.
But still, though, right? Like that's very, very shady that kind of happened.
To me, it was just one of those really weird things because I was like, well, in my head, I was like, wow, did they literally pull distribution right in the middle of actually shipping stuff out? Anything that's Yeezy related, just freeze it and. And you would think that they would say to it, they would cop to it and just say, look, this is product that's been frozen and won't be delivered, and here's your credit back, right? That hasn't happened, so who knows? Maybe it's something else. But I was like, wow, this is really weird.
Yeah, maybe something happened with the Fed. I don't know, but I mean that's kind of. So, I mean, say what you want about Adidas and Yeezy and everything, but I've noticed every single time I've got a pair or I got the Pharrell Williams collab with anything with Adidas. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're pretty good with the shipping times. Like you'll get the shipping within 2 to 3 days. Yeah. Like they're pretty spot on. As like not to like other names, like it takes like a week plus sometimes to get your stuff. So they've always been good with shipping. So to hear that, it definitely raises. Yeah, some red flags.
You know how many shoes I have, right? But I've never had an issue with deliveries because typically they're coming out of a warehouse in Wilkes-Barre, PA, right? So, I mean, it's literally a day or two.
I think that's where my Crocs came from.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge distribution plan, I'm sure, for everybody, right? But, I mean, usually within a day or two, I'm getting the shoes. And it's been over 2 weeks and I've gotten nothing. And I was like, it just was, I mean, it could be just a coincidence. Yeah. Could be. I don't think so.
You don't want to sweep that under the rug because you've never had a problem and then all of a sudden the deal kind of happens. But, kind of onto the topic of cancellation. Do you see the whole business with Kyrie Irving too? His whole deal is so. And
I will confess, I have no idea what the hell he did.
I don't know what he did either.
I didn't even look.
I'm not too sure.
It was anti-Semitic something, but he
said something against.
He praised a film or something.
He like he tweeted out, or I think it was like a film, or he posted like what he thought was his review because he's always been someone who had conspiracy theories and believes in like the Illuminati, that whole type of thing. He's been very public about that. But the Nets have they've like asked him asked him to complete 6 items in order to return back to the team, which was apologize for condoning the movie. They're making him donate $500,000 to an anti-hate Semitic cause. Sensitivity training, anti-Semitic training, meet with ADL/Jewish leaders, meet with Joe Tsai to demonstrate an understanding of, I guess, whatever the hell he was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't even want to comment on this because I have no idea what the hell film he's even talking about, right? I mean,
so, but it's crazy that they're making him do all of that stuff. And the weird one for me was...
that's standard operating procedure for human resources in this day and age, right?
But the weird thing to me off that list was the one that stood out
what's really funny
about $500,000 donation. That was like really weird. What made them come to that? Like, obviously, he's a multimillionaire. I get it, right? But what made them come to that? That's a hefty sum of money.
So what really aggravates the shit out of me is if this was you and I, we would just be fired. Period. Yeah, There's no take sensitivity training. Make amends. Right. Because this guy's a sports player, right? He gets all this, right? Yeah. So you
and the star player on the team.
You rattle off those 6 things he has to do. I guarantee you that 99.99% of the population wouldn't have that same luxury or ability. So, and it's a joke, right? I mean, if he's an anti-Semite, right? I don't know, but if he is. he could care less about going to sensitivity training, and it'll be like, it's like, I'm not gonna pay attention to this shit.
I mean, and kind of going off that too, Nike has announced that suspending his relationship with him. That's effective immediately. So he had the Kyrie 1 through 7s. Now the 8s were supposed to come out. They canned that too. So it's an interesting time that this happened all around the Kanye time. But
I'll tell you what, man, and it's not going to abate. I mean, this cancel, this cancel stuff is going to continue. And who knows? Like I said, it could be merited. I really have. In this case, I have no idea. Right? The Yee thing, I know exactly what he said, and I actually had a conversation with a coworker who's Jewish, and I tried to explain. He doesn't know anything about this, but he knows I like the shoes or something like that. And I said to him, I said, would you freak out if like I made this comment about DEF CON, or I'm going to go DEF CON on the Jews, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, he just kind of looked at me like, it's a fucking stupid thing, like, but who cares? That's what I said. I didn't get like,
right.
I kind of get that it was stupid, but
I mean, I'm not Jewish. I can't give you, I can't. It's a kind of just like a dead thing when it comes to that. Just because like some people, I guess, feel more entitled than other people, and it not allegedly, but that's the fact of the matter. Some people obviously have stronger opinions than others.
I get it,
so,
but I mean, I'm just sitting there going, God, does it, does that statement like deserve you to be completely wiped off the face of the earth? Which is really what they're trying to do to Kanye, right? So
no, absolutely. I mean,
it's kind of wild to watch.
I think that this was something that was.
It's cool that we can talk about this because no one listens to it to experience any blowback about like you're an idiot, you don't understand.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you're right, I probably don't. So if you disagree with us and you're listening to this podcast, let us know and we'll get you on. Honestly, we'll get you on.
Sure.
Let's hear. I want to hear other opinions on this.
I could probably make a post and get someone who's against it and someone who's I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, honest to God, I'd love to hear. I mean, look, I have never ever said that what he said was right. I just didn't
want to have a better understanding.
I'm like, wait a second, it was a stupid comment. Can't we just say it was a stupid comment and kind of move on with our lives instead of nuking the dude? I mean, and the Kyrie thing, I mean, I don't know, but I'm guessing it's the same exact situation. The guy's an idiot. Let him be an idiot. Do we need to make it
start going into his accounts and messing with everything, right?
That's wild.
Big weekend for the Paul brothers, though. Jake won his fight this weekend, and Logan had his WWE debut with.
And I didn't watch either one of them. I was gonna try. I was gonna try and watch the Silva fight, and I didn't.
Yeah. It's a pretty good fight. I mean, people are gonna have their saying.
It didn't take more than 10 minutes before everybody was coming out saying that he took a dive, right? I mean,
well, I was talking more so about his age. Like people are like, "Oh, you're staying in the ring with a 47-year-old fighter," but. I mean, there's credit to where credit's due.
That was Tommy Fury who made that comment.
Yeah. So, I think, boxing at this state, and I'll stand on this statement till the. I mean, he's bringing the noise to boxing, and he's just let him do his thing for the starting fights, and then when he does fight an actual quote unquote boxer. Make that decision when the time comes. But right now, who's it hurting, truthfully?
No,
it's a win-win for everybody, right? Besides, I guess, the people that he's starting beefs with because they're seeing how successful he's doing, right? So
yeah, I know he was on the Impulsive podcast, right? And I guess he's going to have to start really rethinking everything, though, because the money that they made off of it wasn't there, right? The buys were off, tanked.
Because he said that they specifically tanked around
shit, but I mean,
yeah, right. But I think he needs
excuse.
He needs to make smarter decisions on who he's fighting. I think Silva was a good name, but he should have fought Silva while Silva was still in the MMA,
right?
Just to kind of have the same thing. I mean, when he fought Askren, I mean, that was Askren. Like, not a lot of people knew of him before him because he was also retired. Like, so there is some weird things. I don't even know which ones of his fights was the most selling one. Which one was like the biggest?
I would imagine the very first one, like his debut.
I guess you might be right on that.
I mean, so he actually was talking about how he lost money in the end, right? Between he only made like $1.5 million, right? And between all the costs associated with
his team,
entourage, and all that other stuff, he ended up, tanking and not making money. And I just, and then he turns around and he starts mouthing off about how he wants to fight Nate Diaz, and I'm like, okay, it's the same freaking thing, right? It's rinse and repeat, right? I mean, Nate's a little younger, but nobody really gives a shit. Nobody wants to see him fight him. I know he called out Canelo, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, he called out Canelo. I mean, and speaking of that kind of thing, did you see Conor McGregor's transformation recently?
Yeah, he's jacked out his ass. Yeah.
Bro, he says he's 260. I don't believe that. I think he's around 200 because before he was at like 160, but he's claiming he's like gained 100 pounds. I'm like, no shot, right? But I would like to see maybe if Conor McGregor and him got in the ring, that would be an interesting boxing match because he has the training of fighting Mayweather and huge name in the UFC and in overall combat sports. I mean, he's a huge name, so that would be a huge fight.
I would imagine McGregor's going to try and fight Mayweather again. I would think.
I mean, yeah, Mayweather's fighting. We could talk about that all day. I mean, Mayweather's fighting Deji, who essentially lost 3 fights against non-professional fighters. Now he's going against the best of all time.
I mean, that's a show up and get paid $20 million by some Saudi prince. That's all that is.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I don't really have no more news on the
I guess we should.
thing.
I mean, we're the damn camera cut out at 30 minutes and it's back so we're about 50 minutes in. So it's probably good, but we should probably stop before the damn thing overheats again and I lose my shit.
Yeah.
I'll dial that in. I'm sure it's probably just it's user and operator error because I didn't read the RTFM. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, but it came. I mean, it's good for when it does work, but then it's always that 1 second that it doesn't work, and you're just like, all right, geez, like let's get on with this thing,
like I said, I have a feeling it's only because I was we're probably just default recording a 5K video, and that's melding it down, which probably we shouldn't be doing because we're never going to post it in 5K video, right?
Oh, real quick, and this is just the ending point. Sorry. I hung out with Mario over the weekend, and Tracy was talking about the ghost hunting stuff. So, So maybe, I don't know how it would work because she's very serious about like what we're gonna be doing. She said she's gonna tell us all about it on Thanksgiving. So, but she was saying like no joking around or any sorts of anything like that. So. I don't know if we're going to be able to bring this stuff with. If we do, maybe do it like...
Yeah, we have to absolutely bring it.
I don't know how we're going to do it. Maybe do it in a car or something like that.
Well, we do it outside then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying because she's very serious about it.
Though, so I mean...
Yeah, but she was saying there could be another one in December. 2 different Johns. So
okay, whatever. I mean,
so yeah, we have to probably schedule or clear something with her beforehand.
I know she's hypersensitive about it, but I'm like, well, what do you mean by joking? I mean, we're going to talk about it on the podcast. I'm not going to run around in a chicken suit saying I'm haunted, right? I'm not doing that. I mean, so
I don't know, man. I think we should just. Yeah, I don't know what we could do. Maybe we'll probably be fine to record. Ultimately, I think she's just more so like. Going inside and then actually like, yo, we're inside now. Da da da.
Well, the cool thing is we can. I mean, with the GoPro, we can kind of, we'll have to have the mics in our hands, but we could walk around with the GoPro and record the videos when the ghosts come out, right?
Yeah.
Which, okay.
I think when the ghosts come out.
When the ghosts come out, that's gonna be fun though. So for those that don't know, right, what we're talking about is. We're going to a supposed haunted house or haunted mansion in New Jersey, January something, 7th, 8th, something like that.
I think the 7th, yep.
And we're going to record on site at this haunted house, right? I'm a non-believer. I mean, everybody knows it, right? I don't believe in the whole ghost thing.
Oh, damn. We should have ended when we ended.
Well, on the audio, it's still running, and I'm not even going to worry about the
all right,
the video. So the camera cut out again, so we got in about 15, not 20 minutes before it overheated again. God Almighty, man!
All right, well,
serious problem.
Yeah, it is. It's all right. It is what it is.
So for those on Apple iTunes, you're still with us. Thank you, thank you,
yep.
And please
comment,
subscribe, comment.
And
nothing
share.
costs you anything, so
Free.
There's nothing.
And if you want to come on about talking about some of our, I guess, the counter arguments to what we talked about. Make sure
Kyrie, whatever, man. We're open for it.
Yep, live debate. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Peace
Episode
out,
42 in the
everybody.
bag.
Thanks.